I used to just fix it as a hobby with my grandfather. We used to cook it on a kettle outside over a fire, just kind of like it's a family tradition. And for whatever reason, I got more interested in it, and I just kept scaling up and getting more and more into it. So I started with buckets, and then I finally, the past year or two, I've moved over into a tubing system where all the trees are connected with little blue tubes. But anyway, I collect all the sap. We have all these trees that are just naturally up in our hillside. So I do about 120 taps, and some trees have more than one tap in them. But they, like I said, with the tubing system, they all run together into a collection tank. And then I'll go through every day that it runs in the wintertime or early spring and collect the sap, and we bring it down the hill. We put it in this dairy tank here, which refrigerates it and keeps it cold for a couple days while I gather more sap. And once you have enough together, a couple 100 gallons or so, is when you can start cooking it. And this is basically just a big boiling stainless steel pan over a wood fire stove. This whole bottom contraption is just kind of a big firebox. So the sap is fed in by gravity through this little tube, and this hood's not up on here as it usually is when we're cooking, but this steam hood covers the pan, because once it starts boiling, an incredible amount of steam is coming off this thing. So that the steam hood kind of funnels it out and goes through the roof, but it also preheats the sap that's coming in cold on the upside. So it flows in, comes into this little box, it regulates the flow, and basically there's a constant stream of sap running in this end. It boils and it gets more condensed as it moves down the pan, and you draw it off in the front corner there as it gets condensed. So maybe every half an hour you're drawing a little bit of syrup off at the end that's finished. And like I said, there's continuously fresh sap coming in the other side. But it's an all-day job. It takes like at least 7 or 8 hours to get finished syrup coming off the end from when you first start raw. So you have to have a decent amount ahead of time before you start cooking. That's why I wait to get like 200 or 300 gallons together before I even fire this thing up. So I basically get it down to the right, use a hydrometer, or you can use a temperature. You can gauge the temperature and tell you when the sap's ready. But you basically get the right sugar content, and then I draw it off. I hold it just temporarily in these half-gallon ball jars, and I wait till I get like five or more gallons together finished before I filter it and bottle it. And when you do that, you get to reheat it back 180, 190 degrees. You get it hot. You run it through a series of filters. It gets all the little sugar sand, they call it niter. I don't know what that is, but you filter it out, and that gets it crystal clear, so that when you bottle it, there's no haziness or no settling or anything. But it takes a long time to filter that syrup through this filter cloth. It's really thick. So that's why I try to wait and get 4 or 5 gallons together before I do that. Basically, I'll get a couple pots together, one like this guy, and I've got a little propane burner. And you want to reheat it so it gets to about 190 degrees, maybe close to 200. You get it hot again. You're not cooking it any further, just getting it hot. And pour it inside this little bottling unit. There's a filter cloth you lay down, and there's a little screen in here. So you pour the syrup in hot. That filters out any particulates or sugar sand or anything. And there's a little thermometer to measure the temperature. And there's a valve that you screw in here. And this is where I'll actually put each individual bottle. We have little 8-ounce, half-pint bottles. So that's the finished product. It's just bottling it hot, similar to canning. You bottle it hot, it sterilizes the bottle and the lid. You screw the lid on, you lay them down on their side, and that kind of sterilizes the whole thing. So you'll go through a couple 100 bottles, and then once they're all laid out, stand them back up and they cool, and seals the lid, and that's it. And put a label on and ready to sell.